The stadium breathes before she does, a slow, heavy inhale that vibrates through the lights, the crowd, the air thick with the charged stillness of anticipation. The bar waits under the glow of the floodlights, suspended across the apron like a challenge written on the edge of a horizon. Beneath it, a young woman stands in the shadow of her own heartbeat, her eyes fixed on the thin line that has defined so many summers of her life. The track beneath her feet still holds the heat of the day. The air hums with murmurs, breath, expectation. And somewhere inside that vast cathedral of noise, Ariane Friedrich steadies her hands, smooths her ponytail, and begins to feel the rhythm she has practiced since childhood. A rhythm of steps counted like prayer, a curve trained into muscle memory, a takeoff foot that has struck the earth thousands of times before this moment. In the stands, the crowd falls into an anticipatory hush. For them, this is the climax of an evening. For her, it is a sum. A sum of childhood afternoons where she jumped over wooden sticks in backyards and improvised bars held between stacks of school chairs. A sum of the first time a coach noticed she ran differently, leaned differently, rose differently. A sum of cold mornings on desolate training fields, of weight sessions that carved power into her legs, of technique drills repeated until she could hear the thump of her steps echoing in her sleep. A sum of victories and losses, of podiums and quiet hotel rooms where she replayed every detail of her approach until dawn. The stadium sees only this moment. She knows the weight of all that came before it. She closes her eyes, the world shrinks. A single breath fills her lungs, and the entire stadium seems to hold its own breath along with her. The faint scent of the track rises, familiar and grounding. The tension in her calves coils. When she opens her eyes again, something has changed. The world sharpens, contracts, distills into a perfect, electric clarity. The bar, the curve, the jump. Then she moves. Not with frantic speed but with the controlled fury of an athlete who has trained her body to translate intention into action with unbroken precision. Her steps accelerate in a quiet crescendo. The curve forms beneath her feet like a signature she has written millions of times. Her back straightens, her arms sweep. And as she rises into the air, time hesitates just long enough for everyone watching to understand why her career became one of the most compelling stories in German athletics. She floats, arching her back, brushing the sky with the ease of someone born to defy gravity. The bar quivers but holds, the stadium explodes. Ariane lands, lifts her head, and in the eruption of sound, in the flash of victory across her face, lies the essence of her story, not just a jump, but a lifetime of ambition condensed into flight. To understand how she arrived here, how a girl born in Nordhausen became one of Europe's most celebrated high jumpers, requires retracing the journey measured not in meters, but in years, discipline, resilience, and an unwavering hunger for elevation. This is not a tale of accident or overnight success. It is the story of a life shaped by dedication so intense it forged a national record, carried her to world podiums, and challenged her to rebuild herself after devastating injury. Her journey is a testament to everything behind the medal, the sacrifice, the pain, the perseverance, and the humanity of a woman who learned to rise again and again higher each time. Ariane Friedrich was born on the 10th of January 1984 in Nordhausen, a town that, in her early years, still carried the imprint of the former East Germany. Life in the region was simple, structured, filled with routines and modest rhythms. Childhood for Ariane was marked by curiosity and physicality. She was a mover, a runner, a climber. The energy that would later define her athletic career first appeared in local playgrounds and grassy fields, where she naturally gravitated toward challenges of height and speed. Her parents encouraged her active nature, enrolling her in local sports programs where she first experienced organized athletics. She did not begin as a high jumper. Like many children introduced to German athletics clubs, she tried multiple disciplines: sprinting, long jump, hurdles. But coaches noticed something peculiar about her movement: and ease with verticality, a fluidity in her stride, a combination of power and elasticity that hinted at high jump potential. By her early teens, those observations solidified into direction. Ariane began training specifically for the high jump, absorbing the fundamentals with an intensity that exceeded her age. Her youth career unfolded steadily, marked by progression rather than sudden breakthrough. She trained in local clubs, competed in regional meets, and gradually ascended through the national ranks. Her technique developed with a strong emphasis on approach control, the signature curve run that would later become one of her greatest assets. She learned early that high jump is not simply about clearing height. It is geometry, physics, psychology, and rhythm in perfect concert. Ariane embraced all of it. In 2003, at the European Junior Championships, she delivered one of the most important early performances of her life. Competing against Europe's best young jumpers, she won the gold medal. That moment was more than a title, it was a confirmation. It signaled that her potential was not speculative but real, measurable, ready to grow. The victory placed her firmly on the map of athletes to watch, and from that point on, she was no longer simply a national talent, she was a European contender. Her training intensified as she progressed through the U23 ranks. She mastered plyometrics, refined takeoff mechanics, strengthened her core, and honed the curve approach that balanced speed and control. German high jump tradition is rich and demanding. She embraced the pressure that came with it. Ariane entered the senior circuit with a strong competitive foundation, ready to test herself against seasoned athletes. Her early senior years were marked by learning phases, competitions where she performed well but lacked the consistency required for world-class status. That changed dramatically in the late 2000s. The 2008 and 2009 seasons became turning points, the years when she unlocked her full athletic identity. Indoors, she began clearing the symbolic barrier of 2 meters, a psychological threshold that separates good from exceptional. The high jump world took notice. Ariane was no longer simply an emerging talent, she was becoming a force. In early 2009, at the European Indoor Championships, she won gold with a jump of 2.01 meters. It was her first major senior title, and it shifted expectations. The victory told Europe and herself that she could beat the best. Her confidence surged, and the season ahead became a canvas for possibility. What followed is one of the most iconic chapters of her career. On the 14th of June 2009, at the ISTAF meeting in Berlin, Ariane approached the bar at 2.06 meters, a height no German woman had ever cleared outdoors. The stadium was alive with anticipation. She began her approach with the precision of a metronome and soared over the bar with breathtaking clearance. When she landed, she had rewritten national history. The jump made her the German outdoor record holder, a title she would carry into the next decade. It also placed her among the global elite, marking the highest outdoor clearance by any woman worldwide that year. The athletic community erupted with admiration, and suddenly, Ariane was at the center of national attention. But it was the summer's greatest stage that would define her legacy. At the 2009 World Championships in Berlin, she competed under the intense weight of a home crowd expecting greatness. Stadiums can feel different when an entire nation watches one athlete with magnified hope. For Ariane, the pressure was immense. Yet she handled it with poise, clearing key heights and battling some of the world's strongest competitors. In one of the most electric high jump finals of the era, she secured the silver medal, a moment that cemented her place among the world's top jumpers. Her reaction was raw, emotional, unforgettable. The tears she shed on that podium were not just tears of triumph but of every sacrifice that had led to that moment. The medal represented years of work, the national record she had set months earlier, and a belief that she could stand shoulder to shoulder with the world's greatest. But sport rarely offers uninterrupted ascents. The 2010 season initially promised continuation of her success. She maintained strong form, trained with renewed intensity, and prepared for upcoming championships. Then, in December of that year, everything changed. During a training session, Ariane suffered a ruptured Achilles tendon, a devastating injury for any athlete, but especially catastrophic for a high jumper whose entire performance hinges on explosive takeoff power. The rupture halted her career instantly, forcing surgery and a grueling months-long rehabilitation. The road back from such an injury is long and uncertain. Tendon healing is slow, fragile. Athletes often face psychological hurdles as daunting as the physical ones: fear of re-injury, frustration during recovery, loss of competitive rhythm. For Ariane, the months that followed were some of the hardest of her life. The woman who once soared over 2.06 meters now had to relearn how to walk without pain, then jog, then jump. Her identity as an athlete was challenged, but not broken. She fought through rehabilitation with the same resolve she once brought to training for world championships. Her return to competition was not immediate, but when she eventually stepped back onto the track, she carried with her a quiet determination shaped by adversity. Her comeback was measured, deliberate, and grounded in an acute understanding of her body's limitations. No longer could she take every jump for granted. No longer could she rely solely on natural rhythm and momentum. Instead, she combined cautious technical work with renewed mental focus, revisiting the basics she had once mastered and adding layers of strategy that experience had afforded her. Each clearance became a reaffirmation, not just of her ability to jump, but of her resilience, her refusal to be defined solely by setbacks. Throughout 2011 and 2012, Ariane gradually reclaimed her place among Germany's elite jumpers. Though she never again reached the exact peak of 2.06 meters, her performances remained world-class. She captured multiple German national titles, demonstrating a consistency that had been her hallmark even before the injury. Competing internationally, she continued to place at European meets, illustrating both her technical mastery and her mental fortitude. While the global podium remained elusive in some championships, her presence was a constant reminder of her enduring talent and discipline. The London 2012 Olympics marked another defining chapter. Ariane entered the competition carrying not only the weight of her nation's expectations but the personal significance of her recovery journey. The Olympic Stadium, a stage that had once seemed a distant dream, now bore witness to her perseverance. She cleared respectable heights, competing fiercely among the world's best. Though she did not secure a medal, her performance reflected the culmination of a career shaped as much by determination as by athleticism, a testament to a spirit unwilling to succumb to circumstance. Beyond competition, Ariane Friedrich's training philosophy and approach to life as an athlete offer a compelling portrait of dedication. Her regimen combined rigorous physical preparation with careful attention to diet, recovery, and mental conditioning. Sprint drills, plyometric exercises, approach repetitions, and strength training were daily constants. Yet, equally important was her mental resilience, the visualization of jumps, the anticipation of each bar, and the calibration of confidence under pressure. Coaches and peers often remarked on her intensity in training, the meticulous focus she brought to every session, and her ability to translate effort into measurable improvement. Her personality, visible in interviews and public appearances, revealed an athlete both approachable and candid. She spoke openly about her ambitions, fears, and experiences with injury, offering a rare glimpse into the human dimension of elite sport. This authenticity, combined with her competitive achievements, made her a role model for aspiring athletes and a prominent figure in German track and field culture. As her competitive career progressed into the mid-2010s, Ariane began to contemplate life beyond the track. She embraced opportunities outside pure competition, including advocacy for athletics, mentoring younger athletes, and sharing her experiences through public speaking. Her transition was not abrupt but deliberate, shaped by the recognition that an athlete's career, no matter how distinguished, is finite. In this phase, she explored personal interests, education, and the responsibilities that accompanied her evolving identity. Motherhood and family life became central, bringing new dimensions of joy and challenge. Her story thus expanded beyond personal achievement, reflecting the broader human journey of adaptation, growth, and the pursuit of balance. Looking back, Ariane Friedrich's career can be seen as a series of arcs, peaks of triumph, valleys of adversity, and a steady progression that connected early promise to lasting influence. From her first victories in regional German competitions to the record-breaking 2.06-meter jump in Berlin. From her World Championship silver medal to her courageous comeback from Achilles tendon rupture, every moment contributed to a narrative of resilience and excellence. Her journey reminds us that sport is more than statistics or medals. It is a reflection of human character, discipline, and the courage to face the unknown. The stadiums that once echoed with the sound of her landings now witness the legacy of those landings in the next generation. Young athletes look up at the bar and see possibilities, inspired by the woman who learned to fly higher with every challenge. Ariane's influence persists not only in record books, but in the hearts of those who pursue excellence, who train in silence, and who dream of defying gravity in their own lives. For viewers of Behind the Medal, Ariane Friedrich's story offers a powerful lesson. Greatness is never guaranteed, it is earned, moment by moment, leap by leap. Every setback is an opportunity to rebuild. Every triumph is the culmination of preparation, focus, and belief. Her journey teaches that resilience, discipline, and passion are as crucial as raw talent, and that the true measure of an athlete is not only the heights they clear but the courage with which they face the bar set before them. So, whether you are an aspiring athlete, a fan of sport, or someone seeking inspiration in any field, remember Ariane Friedrich. Remember the hours unseen, the repetitions uncounted, the injury that threatened everything, and the strength it took to rise again. Her story is a call to action. Push your limits, embrace discipline, and face life's bars with unwavering resolve. Celebrate not just the medal, but the journey behind it, and carry that lesson forward in your own pursuit of excellence. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life and career of Ariane Friedrich, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Behind the Medal for more cinematic stories of extraordinary athletes, their struggles, triumphs, and the inspiring journeys that define them. This video contains generated images. They are used only for creative illustration and may not represent the athlete's exact appearance.